So I'd like to talk about the MOOC that I'm the academic lead for, which is the Ageing Well with MS MOOC. So as many of the people in this room will know, that MS is typically diagnosed at age 20 to 40. So the people who were diagnosed look very much like the photo we saw earlier of Meg when she was diagnosed in 2010. But as life expectancy is increasing in the community as a whole, so it is in people living with MS, and that is, of course, due to the better treatments that we have as well. So now there are more older people living with MS than ever before, and so the people who we have in the MS community now look a lot more like the photo of Meg in 2024, and indeed the photo of the Consumer Reference Committee, who are not young people necessarily, aged 20 to 40, but are more likely to be a little older. So there are more older people living with MS than ever before, that's a great problem to have, right? So the symptoms, and while the symptoms of MS overlap with the symptoms of ageing, they are not the same. And so ageing with MS is an emerging topic for people living with MS, and so unsurprisingly, that's why it came out in the top 4 suggestions of MOOCs to work on when we did our community consultation a few years back. And I interviewed, I think, 15 clinicians and researchers and 7 people living with MS when I did the filming for this MOOC. And one of the things that Bridie Phillips, who's an MS nurse and is here today, said that stuck with me is that growing old is a privilege and not everybody gets to do it. And so with that in mind, we're really thinking about what it is that people who are living with MS, who are in their middle years or older, are thinking about and what they need to hear, and to be able to live life as best they can with the privilege that growing old can be if you're around to do it, which is a great thing. So the Ageing Well with MS online course, as the others that you saw Alice just present, are all free online courses. They're self-paced. And they aim to explore what ageing is and how it intersects with multiple sclerosis. And like the mental health and MS and the deciding about DMT's short course, enrolments are available all year rather than there being big intakes as there are for the Understanding MS MOOC. So the course consists of 3 modules with quizzes and activities. Obviously it's self-paced, but it's set up as 3 separate modules, which are 1.5 to 2 hours per module. The aim is that should you enrol in the course, that on successful completion, you will be able to describe what normal ageing is, such as it is, and how this might differ to disease processes in MS, and to understand how other medical conditions and medications might affect MS symptoms, and to develop strategies to keep the brain active, cope with challenges in a healthy way, and to develop resilience, and to develop plans for managing work and planning for the future. And so progress on this MOOC, course content is just almost finished, and the next step is the pilot. And we will be gathering feedback from the community on the course content and mode of delivery to make improvements before the course is officially launched. And if you'd like to be involved in the pilot, I have sign-up sheets on the table and you can come and talk to me later. So some examples of the course content. So this is a screen grab from one of these sections in Module 1. So this section is on neurological function, and I interviewed Professor Bruce Taylor, who's here today and is a neurologist, and Dr. Charles Malpass, who is a clinical neuropsychologist, and talk to them about what normal neurological function is in older people and what's different in people with MS. And if you have symptoms of neurological function that aren't normal, whether it's MS or whether it's ageing, and does it matter? And here's an example from Module 2. And I should say that as in the other MOOCs, you can see that we've used still images. So these are stock photos here. We've got some text. We've got some video content. We've also got quizzes and modules. So some people engage with some parts of learning differently to others. So there's plenty of things there to keep everyone happy. So this example's from Module 2, where we're talking about maintaining a healthy brain. So you can see some of the written content here talking about keeping your brain healthy and strategies for maintaining a healthy brain. So in this one, I've interviewed Dr. Cynthia Honan, who is a clinical neuropsychologist. I've also interviewed a number of content experts and talking about, about diet, exercise, sleep. I've also talked to Michael Mortensen and Bridie Phillips, who are both MS nurses. So one of the examples, one of the things that we do in this course is that there's activities. So this is an example of a self-paced activity. So this one isn't assessed; it's reflective learning for people to have a think about. So this one's based on a video that we filmed with Sally Shaw, who is a psychologist and also a person living with MS. And so this activity talks about managing challenges. So she suggests that people sit down with a cup of tea and work through the big components of mental health and resilience, and think about, what are they managing? What are you managing well? Which areas could you enhance? What areas could you attend to a little better? And think about, what your coping strategies are now to manage your challenges, and perhaps, some things that you could work on that might improve your life. So that's one of our activities. So in this MOOC, with incorporating all of those activities over 3 weeks, that will be what this short course will involve. So if you would like to take part in the pilot for that, you can see me after this talk or visit the trade table.